What if you could simplify your business, free up hours of your time every week, and scale it with less chaos by removing things instead of adding more? A lot of people think they need more systems and more processes, but what if you actually need less? If you're a builder, remodeler, or a commercial general contractor and you feel overwhelmed, buried in complexity, or stuck in the weeds of your business, this episode is for you. My name is Todd DeWalt. This is the Construction Leading Edge podcast from constructionleadingedge.com. Today, I'm going to show you how to apply Elon Musk's 5-step algorithm to your construction business so you can simplify, systematize, and scale smarter. So let's get after it. In case you've been living under a rock for the past 15 years, Elon Musk is a South African-born American entrepreneur, investor, and CEO known for co-founding companies like SpaceX, Tesla, co-founding the online payment company PayPal, and acquiring the social media platform X, also formerly known as Twitter. And he actually even headed up the much maligned Department of Government Efficiency briefly for a while. And he has a 5-step algorithm for making things more systematic. Here we go. Step 1 is question every requirement. Elon Musk says, assume every requirement is dumb until proven otherwise. This first step is all about first principles thinking. First principles thinking means operating or solving a problem by breaking it down to its most basic fundamental truths and then rebuilding it from there rather than relying on assumptions. And so many times we rely on assumptions. So the first step is don't assume that just because something exists, it should. In other words, when you get the requirements from a client or requirements for a process or anything you're doing, assume there's something dumb in there, and your job is to make it less dumb. So ask questions like, why are we doing this? What problem are we actually trying to solve? Ask clients, why do you think you need this? What I found is clients often don't know what they truly want or need. They're not good at knowing what they want. They tend to make assumptions. They have this set of problems or challenges they're trying to solve, and they typically make assumptions and they come up with some sort of a scope. And your job is to dig into that and ask a lot of questions to get down to the problem, because the last thing you want to do is put together a project or a process based on some wrong assumptions. For example, a while back when I was doing real estate development projects, we had this manufacturing business. We were building a building that had about 30,000 square feet of office space, I think about 100,000 square feet of manufacturing space. And we were in the early conceptual design phase, and I remember looking through their performance specs, and this HVAC design system was incredibly expensive. It was a hot water system with a boiler, heat exchanger, pumps, thousands of feet of steel pipe running through the building. And I asked David, the tenant rep, hey, David, what's going on here? And he said, oh, yeah, these guys, they are big on energy efficiency. They're willing to spend money to make the building more energy efficient. They're okay with like a 20 or 25-year payoff period on that. Yeah, that's exactly what they want. So we said, okay, that doesn't quite align with everything else they told us. So we talked to Keith, who ran operations for the company, and said, hey, Keith, are you willing to spend an extra $250,000 on your HVAC system? He said, hell no. Give us the system that has lowest initial construction cost. We want the least expensive. So David had made an assumption, or somewhere he picked up this idea, that they were all about energy efficiency, but that was not the case. So fortunately, we were able to scrub that out early on rather than have to completely redesign the system. And when it comes to your business, you also want to challenge the things that you think you have to do. There are these things you just believe to be true that you just have to do. And in many cases, you just don't. So you need to question them. These things like you have to do free estimates, or you have to personally visit every job site every day, or you have to do all of the sales, and that you have to let the client have it their way, that the client gets to dictate the process. And I can tell you all three of those are things that people believe to be true that are not. So remember, operate from first principles, attack the problem, get down to its most basic fundamental truths, strip away the assumptions, and look for the dumb. Make the requirements less dumb. That's step number one. Step number two is my favorite part, which is to delete any part or any process you can. Elon Musk would say, if you're not occasionally adding things back in, that means you're not deleting enough. This is where you start removing, be ruthless, kill processes, kill tasks, kill tools that aren't necessary. As humans, you need to be aware of this thing that we have called additive bias. Additive bias is this natural tendency we have to solve problems by adding things or doing more, add more steps, add more people, add more tools. When in reality, the best solution is often to do less. There's a great management guru, Peter Drucker, who once said, there is nothing so useless as doing efficiently that which should not be done at all. There's nothing so useless as doing efficiently that which should not be done at all. For example, a few years ago, I was doing a deep dive with a custom home builder. They built about 50 homes a year, and they kept talking about these electrical walkthroughs. And when that term came up, people would roll their eyes and say, oh, well, electrical walkthroughs, they suck. It's where they would walk through a house that was framed with the client. The idea was we're going to place every light fixture, every light switch, every outlet, and it always turned into a 3-hour session where they just looked at everything. And the customers didn't like it, the sales folks didn't like it, the operations folks didn't like it, and they're talking about, oh, how do we make these electrical walkthroughs even better? And I said, what if we just deleted these walkthroughs? What if we just deleted them? And their eyes lit up, and they said, yeah, we don't have to do these at all. They just deleted the electrical walkthroughs and came up with another way to solve that problem. So here's another example. If you want to be more profitable in your business, you likely need to delete certain project types or clients. Do fewer things better, not more things on average. Not more things averagely, if that's a word. So I had a conversation with a builder who ended up joining our program, and his initial hypothesis was we need to be more profitable, so we need to take on a new project type. They were doing custom homes, and he felt like they needed to add remodels to be more profitable. And that wasn't true. The reality was they didn't need to add anything. They just needed to do what they're doing more efficiently. Again, if you want to be more profitable, be aware of the additive bias. Watch out for this knee-jerk reaction to do more things, when in the reality, you probably just need to do fewer things. You need to delete some things. Hey, it's Todd. We'll get back to the episode in just a minute. If you're thinking about growing your construction business, maybe you've been wondering things like, how do I know if my business can handle more work without falling apart? Is now the right time to grow, or should we just stay where we're at? Am I missing something that could blow up if I scale too fast? Do I have the right structure in place to support growth and to be able to grow safely? Maybe you're worried about burning out your team or burning out yourself. You're worried about winning more work, but then losing control of the quality and having that hurt your reputation. Maybe you're concerned about getting stuck in more chaos, having more problems instead of having more freedom, or finding out too late that your systems just weren't strong enough to handle the growth. Well, here's what's surprising. A company studied why successful contractors fail, and they found out two things. Number one, contractors don't starve to death. They get too much work too fast with inadequate resources, and then they run out of cash. The second thing that they learned after studying a couple of hundred successful contractors that failed is that contractors are actually more likely to go bankrupt during a growing economy than during a downturn. So how do you know if your business is ready to scale? How do you know when it's time to hire more team members, to go after another market, to sell more work? Well, that's a big question that a lot of people are grappling with. It's a question I get a lot. So that's why I created an assessment tool to help you answer the question, is your construction business ready to scale? This assessment is free, it's online, and you'll get a customized report showing exactly where your business is strong and where the hidden gaps are that could trip you up. It's the fastest way to get clarity before you put your business and your future at risk. So if you want to take the free assessment to find out, is your construction business ready to scale? The link is in the show notes. Step 3 is to simplify and optimize. Now that you've deleted the unnecessary, you've gotten to the real problems, let's look at what's left and simplify and optimize it. This is the first time you should optimize. Again, there's no sense optimizing something that's based on wrong assumptions. There's definitely no reason to optimize something that shouldn't be done at all. So now it's time to simplify and optimize. This is when you build clear, lean systems. So make sure your team knows what the 2 or 3 steps are that are really needed. I like to use the 80-20 principle. What are the 20% of the steps in the process that lead to 80% of the results? Let's focus on those things. You probably don't need 20 steps in your process. So for example, what this looks like is a documented pre-construction process to, as we call it, nail the handoff from the office to the field. Think one-page templates, pre-construction checklists, create lean, simple, optimized systems. Step 4 is to accelerate cycle times. Accelerate cycle times. Once you're doing the right things, let's do them faster. Once your systems are lean and mean, let's speed things up. I'll give you a couple of examples. One strategy I love is what I call the FedEx session. And it's called a FedEx session because at the end of it, the session, you're going to ship something. So if you need to create a template, a document, a checklist, a slide deck for something, my advice, what we found that works the best is schedule an hour-long FedEx session or a 2-hour-long FedEx session, have a set list of things you're going to create, get the right people in the room, open up a laptop, get it up on the screen, create it on the fly, and have the people in the room saying, yes, I like this. No, I don't like that. Let's change this. When it's done, boom, it's good. Let's ship it. And in 15 minutes, you can get a template or a checklist or a document created and approved in a FedEx session, whereas the other approach would be one person works on it for a little while, they email it to somebody else, it sits in their email inbox for a couple of days, and there's this back and forth. Same thing happens with clients. What happens with selections in many cases with clients is you say, hey, it's time for you to make your selections. And then nothing happens. Maybe they give you partial selections. So if you want to accelerate cycle times, then schedule appointments with your clients to make the selections. Bring them into your showroom, meet them at the supplier, set it up, and lead that process to accelerate cycle times. One of the most brilliant things I ever saw to accelerate cycle times in design reviews was a long time ago. I was managing a hospital project. We were building an emergency department addition and also renovating a bunch of different spaces in the existing hospital. So there were, say, 6 or 8 different groups. There was physical therapy and radiology and administration, these groups, and we were renovating their spaces. And Ken Green was the architect, and he came up with this brilliant solution. Instead of going back and forth and sharing PDFs and this sort of thing, he said, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to block out a conference room in the hospital for an entire day. We'll bring our machine projector into the room. We'll bring the user groups in, and we'll design their space on the fly. We'll say, what do you need? And then we'll move things around. We'll design their space on the fly. And then at the end of each 45 to 60-minute session with each user group, we had an improved design. So if you need to accelerate cycle times, if you're frustrated by how long it takes to design something, consider doing something like that. Get your client in the room, give them a few options, maybe even update it on the fly. Remember the old sales saying, time kills deals. Time also can kill projects. So remember step 4, accelerate cycle times. And then step 5, finally, is to automate. And automation is step 5 for a reason. Because if you automate a broken or bloated process, you just create a faster mess. So when we talk about automation, this is when we start using tools like Buildertrend, Co-Construct, JobTread, Zapier, HubSpot, Go High Level, CRMs, things like that. But you do this only after your processes are necessary, lean, optimized, and fast. For example, here's what happens. I talk to quite a few people who automate too soon. They sign up for software too soon, and they set up software to automatically assign tasks to team members, but the roles and responsibilities aren't clearly defined. So now tasks are getting assigned to the wrong people, so they get ignored, and accountability is worse than before, and people just ignore the system. Or maybe you copy and paste a sales messaging sequence into your CRM, and it doesn't line up with your process. So you're sending out messages. I've seen messages that just don't make any sense. They're written to companies in the States, but it sounds like they're talking to somebody in the UK using slang and terminology that just doesn't make sense to Americans. And it creates confusion. Some good examples. Once you automate your system, some good examples would be to automatically send out client updates via JobTread or BuilderTrend after your site review, when things are dialed in. Let the software work for you, but only once you've done the hard thinking. If you automate too soon, and there are software salespeople who will tell you you need to automate first, that is a big mistake. You need to make sure the software is working for you once you've done the thinking and you have your processes documented and dialed in. So if your business feels chaotic, overcomplicated, inefficient, you think you need to be doing more, don't start by optimizing. Don't even start by automating. Start by deleting. Run your processes through this 5-step filter that Elon Musk uses to put rockets into space. Step 1, question it. Step 2, delete it. Delete what you can. Step 3, simplify it. Step 4, speed it up. Step 5, finally, automate it. That's how you build a business that can scale without burning you out. So there's a pretty good chance you don't need to do more. You actually need to do less. So if you want help applying this to your business, if you want to see what working with my team looks like, you can schedule a business evaluation call. We'll walk you through exactly what to delete, what to systematize, and ultimately how to build a system that runs better without you. You can stick around for a moment. You'll hear more about that. Or you can go click the link in the show notes or go to constructionleadingedge.com/apply to take that first step and schedule a call, and we'll see how we can help you. Stick around for a few more minutes and get some more details. We'll talk soon. Hey, it's Todd. Before you go, if you own a construction business and you know you need to put the right systems in place, whether it's to be able to scale up, to be able to take a proper vacation, step away from day-to-day operations, if you know you need to make it more profitable, or even prepare it for a future sale, if you know you need to make some changes in your business, there are really only 3 options. I want to clarify this for you. Option 1 is do nothing. Keep doing the status quo. Same inputs, same results. Keep doing the same thing that you've been doing. Option 2 is to DIY it, to do it yourself. You can try to reinvent the wheel, piece together solutions from books and podcasts, hope that trial and error gets you where you want to go. In my experience, this is the path of most resistance. Or there's option 3, which is to find a proven system that delivers the results you're looking for. Think about it. Sort of like when you sign up for software for project management or bookkeeping, you probably didn't try to code your own software, right? You found a system that works. So that's a proven system that gets you the results you're looking for. Well, if you're ready to systematize your construction business, we've helped hundreds of construction business owners implement our proven processes, including our nail the handoff pre-construction system. It works for home builders, remodelers, commercial general contractors, and trade contractors like electricians, plumbers, roofers. The first step is simple. Schedule a free business evaluation call with my team. Just click the link in the show notes to book your call. On that call, you'll walk away with clarity on the hidden root causes of your biggest challenges. You'll learn about the pitfalls that you want to avoid as you move forward with your business, and you'll walk away with a customized roadmap that you can follow to get where you want to go. This is not a sales pitch, okay? There's no pressure. We may not even talk about working together. You may not even hear about our program. This is all about evaluating your business. It's going to be the most valuable hour that you've spent working on your business in a long time. So don't wait. Click the link in the show notes to book your free business evaluation call now. And the last thing, if you've been enjoying this podcast and getting value out of it, I've got a quick favor to ask. Could you take a moment and leave a 5-star rating and maybe a short review on the platform that you're listening or watching on? It really helps the podcast grow. It lets other people know what to expect. Plus, I love to hear your feedback. It means a lot to me. Thanks so much. My name is Todd DeWalt from constructionleadingedge.com, and I'll catch you on the next episode.